You know the moment. You reached out, same as you always. Nothing different. Nothing you did wrong, as far as you could tell. And your Quaker Parrot, the bird that flies to you every morning, that falls asleep on your shoulder, that calls your name when you leave the room, bit you hard enough to leave a mark, and you pulled your hand back, and you looked at your bird, and your bird looked at you, and you had no idea what just happened. What if I told you that bite had a meaning? A specific, readable, completely understandable meaning that your bird communicated as clearly as it knew how, and you just did not have the language to hear it yet. Today, I am giving you that language. Here is the thing that confuses every Quaker Parrot owner at some point. The biting almost never comes from birds that do not know you. It comes from the ones that do. The bonded bird, the one that chose you, the one that chose you, the one with all 7 signs from last week's video. And the reason for that, once you understand it, completely reframes what a bite actually is. A bird that does not trust you does not waste energy biting. It retreats. It freezes. It flees. Biting is what a bird does when it is comfortable enough to communicate, but does not have any other way to make itself understood. Your bird bit you because you were safe enough to bite. That is the starting point. Now, let us open the case file. Case file 1. The warning bite. The scene. Your bird is sitting on your hand or shoulder. You move toward another room, toward another person, toward a phone ringing on the counter. You do not put the bird down first. You just move, and it bites. Here is what most people do next. They say, no, sharply. Put the bird down. Feel frustrated. Here is what actually happened. Your bird gave you a warning, and you missed it. Every Quaker Parrot bite that lands is almost always preceded by a set of signals that came first. Pinned pupils. The eye contracts to a small focused point. Feathers slick tight against the body. A very slight lean away, or a very slight lean forward. These are the words that came before the bite. The bite was the period at the end of a sentence you did not read. This bite was not aggression. It was not dominance. It was not your bird acting out. It was communication that arrived at step 3, because steps 1 and 2 were missed. What to do differently? Before you move, watch the eyes. Slicked feathers and pinned pupils mean your bird is not ready. Put it back on its perch before you go. Not as a punishment, as a response to what it already told you. Case file 2. The overstimulation bite. The scene. Everything was perfect. Your bird was on you, clearly happy, chattering, preening, relaxed. You were petting it. And then, out of nowhere, it bit you. No warning. No visible change. One moment calm. The next, teeth. This one is the most confusing because it feels like a betrayal. Everything was going well, and then suddenly it wasn't. Here is what was actually happening inside your bird. Quaker Parrots have a specific neurological threshold for physical stimulation. When that threshold is crossed, and it is different for every bird, and can vary by day, by time, by mood, the nervous system tips from pleasure into overload. Think of it like a glass of water being filled slowly. You cannot see when it is about to overflow. And then, one more drop, and it does. The bite was not a change of heart. It was not the bird deciding it no longer liked you. It was a nervous system that hit its limit and responded the only way it knew how. This bite was your bird's body saying, stop, not your bird deciding you are the enemy. What to do differently? Watch for subtle restlessness during petting, tail fanning, slight body weight shifting, a very small vocalization, not a call, just a murmur of sound. These are the signs the glass is getting full. Stop before the overflow. Every time, and over weeks, your bird will learn that you can read it, and it will need to bite less. Case file 3. The redirect bite. The scene. Your bird is agitated. Maybe there is something outside the window. Maybe another pet walked into the room. Maybe a noise startled it. It is clearly upset, and then it bites you. Even though you had nothing to do with whatever startled it, you were not the threat, but you got the bite. This one has a name in behavioral science. It is called redirected aggression, and it is not unique to parrots. It happens in dogs, cats, primates, and humans. Here is the mechanism. Your bird's nervous system is flooded with threat response hormones. It is primed to react. The actual threat, the thing outside the window, the other animal, is not within reach. You are. The bite lands on you not because you caused the problem, but because you were the closest available outlet for energy that had nowhere else to go. This bite was never about you. What to do differently? When you see your bird in high agitation, wings up, fast head movement, alarm call, do not reach for it. Do not try to calm it with touch. Give it 30 seconds. Let the hormones begin to drop. Then approach slowly, with your voice first. You were not the target. You just arrived at the wrong moment. Time, just a little of it, changes everything. I want to pause here for a moment, because there is something I have not said yet that I think matters more than any of the case files. Most owners after a bite feel one of two things: hurt or embarrassed, and very often, they pull back. They handle the bird less. They start approaching it more carefully, more tentatively, with less warmth. And the bird feels that shift, because your Quaker Parrot can read the change in your energy. It registers the new caution in your hands, the hesitation before you reach out. And ironically, that caution, that pulling back, often creates more biting, because a bird that senses its person is suddenly uncertain becomes uncertain too. Your confidence is your bird's safety signal. When you lose it, even a little, your bird loses something too. So here is what I want you to take from this video. Before we get to the last 3 case files, a bite is not a failure. Not yours, not your bird's. It is a conversation that needs a translator. You are getting that translator right now. Case file 4, the hormonal bite. The scene. Your bird's behavior changes, seemingly overnight. A bird that has never bitten before starts biting regularly. It becomes territorial. It guards specific objects or spots. It is fine one moment and volatile the next. You have done nothing differently. The environment has not changed, but your bird has. What is happening? Quaker parrots go through hormonal cycles, most strongly in spring and late summer, triggered by light changes in temperature. During these periods, the brain chemistry that governs bonding and territory spikes significantly. Your bird is not becoming aggressive. It is experiencing something closer to an overwhelming internal weather system, hormones flooding its brain in quantities it has no control over. During this period, the bite threshold drops dramatically. Things that were fine before are suddenly not fine. Approaches that worked for years stop working temporarily. This is seasonal, it is temporary, and it is biological, not behavioral. What to do differently during hormonal periods: reduce the conditions that trigger it. Shorter daylight hours. Cover the cage earlier in the evening. Remove nesting materials from the cage. Reduce petting on the back and wings, which can stimulate breeding behavior. The bird you know is still in there. Wait out the weather. Case file 5, the fear bite. The scene. Something new appears, a new person in the house, a change in your appearance, a piece of furniture moved, a bag or coat placed somewhere unexpected. Your bird bites when approached. This one is the most misread bite on the list, because the bird looks confident when it bites. It is not cowering, it is not fleeing, it is sitting up straight, it is biting hard, and it looks like pure aggression. It is not. In prey animal, and Quaker parrots in the wild are prey animal. Fear and aggression use the same display. When a Quaker parrot cannot flee, it makes itself look dangerous instead. The bite is not an attack, it is a bluff. A scared bird that bites is a bird saying, "I am terrified and I have no other option." The confidence is costume, the terror underneath is real. This bite came from fear, not from a desire to harm you. What to do differently? Do not push through the bite. Backing away and returning more slowly, with your voice before your hand, tells your bird, "I heard you. I am not a threat." Every time you respond to a fear bite with gentleness instead of withdrawal or punishment, you are dismantling the fear, one approach at a time. Case file 6, the love bite. The scene. Your bird is preening you, gently working through your hair, nibbling your fingers, and then it bites, not hard, but deliberately. This one has the simplest verdict of all 6 cases, and it is the one that will make you smile. A love bite is not a bite at all in the behavioral sense. It is pressure without the intent to harm. It is your bird testing the texture of you, the same exploratory mouthing it would use with a trusted flockmate. In Quaker parrot social behavior, gentle biting between bonded individuals is a form of physical conversation. It means, "I am comfortable enough with you to use my beak here." The beak is your bird's most sensitive organ. It has more nerve endings per square millimeter than your fingertips. Using it on you is an act of intimacy, not hostility. This was not a bite. This was a sentence. Your bird was talking to you with the most precise instrument it has. The translation: "I trust you completely." 6 case files, 6 verdicts, and every single one of them, if you look at them honestly, says the same thing underneath. My bird was trying to tell me something, not to hurt me, not to reject me. Not because something broke between us, because it needed me to understand something, and it only had one tool available to make sure I paid attention. Think about that. Your bird cannot speak the way you speak. It cannot tap you on the shoulder. It cannot write you a note. It has its calls, which we covered in episode 3. It has its body language, which most owners learn to read slowly over years. And it has its beak, which it will use as a last resort when everything else has not worked. A bite from a bonded Quaker parrot is not the end of trust. It is evidence of it, because an animal that has no trust in you does not bother communicating at all. The next time it happens, and it may happen again, because you are both still learning each other, do not pull back. Do not feel hurt. Ask the question instead, what were you trying to tell me? Because now you have the language to find out. Which case file was your bird? Drop it in the comments. Case file 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, or 6. And if your bite doesn't fit any of them, describe it below. I read every comment and I will help you figure out what your bird was saying. Like this video if it changed the way you think about that moment. And subscribe to Quaker Mind, because next week we are going somewhere completely different. The Quaker Parrot that learned 200 words and what the scientists watching it realized about the way these birds actually think. I will see you then.